This is allegedly what's happening over in California. California? Yeah, California. All right, let's get into it. Let's rock out, y'all. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. And then in addition to that, make sure that y'all tab into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right.
San Francisco supervisors today heard more than 100 recommendations from a city-appointed reparations committee tasked with figuring out how to atone for centuries of slavery and systemic racism. San Francisco is considering a reparations proposal that includes a $5 million lump sum payment for each eligible black person. San Francisco could become the first major U.S. city to fund reparations as the idea gains traction across the country.
Y'all better go and move to San Francisco. Y'all better go over there with Aaron O. Aaron O. Y'all better go and move to San Francisco and go hang out with Aaron O. if y'all looking for reparations.
Reparations advocates say the harms of slavery have continued since its official end in 1865. But critics say reparations are flawed and
Look at all the black
financially
people out there. Listen, ma'am, respectfully, ma'am. I don't even want to say what I was about to say. I don't even want to say what I'm about to say. I'm so respectful. I'm not even going to say what I would have said last year. I'm not even going to say what I would have said last year. I'm going to just let it be.
Feasible. Before today's meeting, supporters held a rally to talk about why they believe reparations are needed.
We've heard a lot of critics, and even some of you may be questioning why.
Reading super chats throughout the day. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Why would we be seeking reparations for black San Franciscans? Many folks often say that California and San Francisco specifically did not enslave black people. And so there's lots of history that obviously needs to be researched, and I'm putting that responsibility on all of you to do that.
Black people make up 6% of San Francisco's population and 38% of its homeless residents. Today, supervisors expressed support for
Whoa, what? I haven't seen this video. I only seen part of the second video. It said that black people make up 6% of San Francisco's population, but 38% of its homeless population? Of the homelessness? That can't be right. Is that right? Hey, somebody check those stats for me. Black people make up 6% of San Francisco's population, but 38% of its homeless population. Wow, that's crazy.
Reparations that were presented to them, but that does not mean that all those recommendations will ultimately be adopted. The board can vote to approve, reject, or change any or all of those recommendations, and a final committee report is due in June.
All right, for more now, we are joined by Eric McDonald, chair of San Francisco's African American Reparations Advisory Committee. Thanks so much for joining us. I'd like to start off with what we're just hearing from the San Francisco NAACP, saying now that they would actually want to reject the reparations one-time payment in favor of investments in key areas of education, economy, housing, healthcare, and the Fillmore Heritage Center in the black community. Can we get your thoughts on this?
How serious do y'all take all of these organizations? NAACP, BET, United Negro, whatever. Honestly, how serious do y'all take these organizations in a general sense? I'm just curious.
New development.
Happy to share my thoughts. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to come spend a few minutes with you all. Coming to that question, I would first say this is an historic day, a historic moment where we are having serious, intentional, deliberative conversations about reparations in San Francisco. Short time ago, not thought possible, and yet here we are. And so, as is expected, as the committee has done its hard work, developed this draft plan that we will work to make final in June. There are folks who are bringing all kinds of points of view, right, about it. So we respect that. I'm aware of the NAACP's perspective. Without commenting deeply about it, I would say that represents an or context, and we are offering an and context. So we respect that the NAACP can obviously share its perspective. We as a committee as a whole don't share that perspective.
All right, so let's talk about the notion of these $5 million payments to individuals in San Francisco. You actually say this is a low figure. If you look at the totality of the harm that's been caused by slavery in this country, why do you believe that those cash payments are so crucial?
In answering that question, let me just make clear, there are 111 recommendations in the report. While I'm happy to speak to this one, I want to make it really clear, it is but one of 111, and our intention is to ensure that Black San Franciscans who have experienced significant harm over the history of San Francisco have opportunities in education and in health and in policy and in economic empowerment. And so it seems as if many read the first section of economic empowerment and stopped. There are many. In terms of the $5 million, you cannot put a price on the cost of lives lost, properties lost, stress-induced health crises, the inability to create pathways to economic agency and self-achievement. You cannot put the price tag on that.
All right, so he's saying you can't put a price tag on it, but we're going to slap $5 million, all right? So let's back up for a minute. These are, and this is the video I've seen a little bit of, these are the people speaking specifically to, I guess, their legislative branches on what they think about $5 million in reparations, all right?
Reparations are overdue for all foundational Black Americans.
I'm guessing foundational Black Americans, that's what the FBA abbreviation is. Foundational Black Americans. Now, I'm not sure who qualifies. I'm going to be reading Super Chats throughout the show. Don't worry, I'm marking them all. I'm coming to get all of y'all Super Chats read. I'm not sure who qualifies as a foundational Black American. They certainly saying we leaving out these immigrants and all of this other type of stuff, right? I know a lot of y'all don't even know who y'all real daddy is, but they saying that if you're a foundational Black American, then you deserve reparations, all right? Now they're about to speak about this number, this $5 million number, all right?
Black Americans that were killed for nothing, babies taken away from mothers, fathers killed for protecting their families, and families broken up on purpose for a profit. Medical genocide, unjust laws, and just plain out brutality. Foundational Black Americans have helped every culture to get on their feet. Now it is foundational Black Americans' turn to do the same for ourselves. Not just for my generation, but also for the elders that took the time and did the research and educated us and taught us our true history. Also, for the future generations to come that will lead us into the future with their heads held up high. I believe that $5 million in reparations is too little for the work that foundational Black Americans have done for this country, and as well.
He said $5 million is too little. $5 million is too little. What do y'all think about that? Because I think that on Friday, barring that there's no other crazy story that comes out, I don't want to discuss this too much, right? Because I think that this is a discussion that I'm going to open up possibly for the panel. Y'all know I like to have people come up and give me their smoke, say whatever it is that they think about me, give their thoughts on different things that I said throughout the week or whatever. I'm thinking I'm going to have a conversation about reparations on Friday. But he said that $5 million per person is too small. Somebody said Anton ain't inviting somebody. Hold on, let me read it. Says somebody ain't inviting Anton to be able to have a conversation. Hold on, let me read it. Anton ain't inviting anyone who will give any political perspective on reparations. He's angry with 6, so I'm not angry with nobody. I have no problem with 6, A. And then B, Captain America, Captain, anybody that want to hit the link is more than welcome to be able to come up and say, as a matter of fact, here, I'll do this. I got a little bit of extra time. Captain America, or whoever it is that is very well educated. Now, don't come up here talking that bullshit. Educate me. I just opened up the link. Now, Captain, you are more than welcome to be able to come up and give me the game, and I'm open to the possibility that I may just be completely off, right? You are more than welcome to be able to come up here and help me to understand why it is that I'm off. I just dropped the link in the chat. Sydney K, if I'm off, then tell me. I just dropped the link. I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. Don't worry about it. I don't usually do this on a Tuesday, but I'm feeling a little froggy today. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Make sure y'all got good lighting. Make sure y'all audio is working good. I'm going to leave the link open for at least 5 more minutes for somebody to come. Now, if you agree with me, do not come up here. If you agree with me, do not come up here. If you think that my thinking is off and you want to educate me on how it is that I need to see things differently as far as reparations, because y'all said that, yo, Anton, you ain't going to invite nobody up here that actually got a different perspective that can give you some education on how it is that we need to be running in the Victim Olympics. Okay, well then if that's the case, I'm right here. I'm right here. I don't see the link popping up. I don't hear no ringing in my ears. I don't see nobody in the back that then can come up here and give me some game and some insight on how it is that I need to be doing things differently. Where are all of these people that can give me some insight and educate me on how it is that I can better understand why foundational Black Americans deserve $5 million or more per person? Y'all want to watch the video until we get somebody that's going to give me the game? I'll play some more of the video while we wait for y'all. Don't worry about it.
Well, for other countries, I believe that 7.6 million is a number that can be used very wisely in our foundational Black American communities. 40 acres is also still a good idea, and instead of a mule, we would like a tractor. I also believe that we should know the name of all the companies that participated in the slave trade so we, foundational Black Americans, can start up our own companies. We should also be allowed to have a choice to learn our mother language other than Spanish or French in our educational classes.
What's preventing y'all from learning y'all own languages? I'm going to drop the link in the chat again. Don't worry about it. I just dropped the link in the chat again. What's stopping y'all from going online or going to get you some, literally, you can go on Apple Music if you got Apple or Spotify, and they got literal albums that you can download that will teach you any language that you want. Any language that you want. Yo, I don't see nobody camming up. How come ain't nobody hitting the link? I know that I dropped the proper link. What happened to Captain America? Savior of the nearest universe. Where's all of these people that be typing hard in the chat? Listen. This is what I usually see. I see 1,000 people. What up, C? Sometimes we got to mute the conversation to make sure that we, I don't see nobody. Where are all of these people? Where are all of these people? I dropped the link twice. I'll send it one more time. I see all of these people on a regular basis. They be typing hard in the comments. They be giving all kind of Anton, you whatever you want to send me text messages at 1 o'clock in the morning. I see 22 dislikes. Get the dislikes and the likes up. Where are all of these people that's actually gonna give me this game? All right, here we go. Hold on. I got somebody for y'all. Hold on. Give me a second. I knew that we was gonna get somebody that was gonna hold me down and give me the game on how it is that I need to look at things differently. Arthur, wasn't you on here the other day? Arthur. Can you hear me? Arthur. I can't hear you, Arthur. Arthur, you got to unmute yourself.
I just did.
Okay. Wasn't you on here the other day? Wasn't you on here last Friday?
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Arthur, you was on here last Friday?
You think I'm a Hebrew Israelite? That's fine.
So you was on here last Friday?
Huh?
Are you Captain America?
Yeah.
You're Captain America?
No. I don't comment in chats.
Okay, hold on, Arthur, because you was on here the other day. Give me 1 second. I got somebody else. Let me drop you down for 1 second, okay? Let me see if I can get somebody else, because I already know where you stand on this. Like, what's going on, big dog?
What's going on with you, Anton? How are you, man?
Is it T. Royce or is it Choice? Or Troyce?
It's Troy.
Troy?
Mm-hmm.
Where you from, Troy?
Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, what up, though? What's happening? What's the word?
What up, though, my baby? You all right?
Chilling, big dog.
I've been shooting at, I wrote in the super chat, I'm the little pimp icon, you know, the Willie Dynamite icon. And I've done a lot of shouting from the super chat, and have tried to show a lot of love. I'm sure you've noticed. And like you said, you keep a record of everybody that be active.
Yep.
And I'm from the hometown. And I also wrote in the super chat, when you get a chance, check the IG. I left you a couple of messages. Pardon me for it being long. I'm a little windy when I talk.
Take your time, big dog.
But to get straight to the point about reparations, little name dropping, you know, a lot of us take it passionately to the heart with the ideology that we have laid down about our survival not being up for discussion. Shout outs to Jason Black, shout outs to Tariq Nasheed, shout outs to Yarima Karama for the work that they have put down. Shout outs to Professor Black Truth for the work that he has put down. Shout outs to the Nation of Islam, and the pupils who have followed the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and everyone who has been active and given an intellectual stance on reparations. Here's my thing and what I got to say about it. Just thinking from an intellectual perspective of it, throwing numbers out there and how history has gone the past 200, 300, 400 years. There's this number I always throw out there about how it is imaginatively. The people who run the world have about $600 trillion, right? So you take that, chop off 200 trillion. There's been numbers thrown around about 50 trillion being a down payment collectively for FBA.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Because I'm asking for context. All right.
Come on.
When you say the people that run the world, who is this that you speaking about specifically that run the world?
The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the people. When you follow the money, it is clear indication who played a part in the oppression of Black people globally.
So you saying that there are specific families that have $600 trillion, and we're to chop off 200 trillion of their money?
Yeah, that plus the ideas that were wrote up in reparations conversations among intellectuals for Black folk, that just speaking abroad, a redo, kind of like what the Jews had during the Holocaust. We want full clean slate. There's enough intellectual Black people around where we could collectively build our own. We want reparations from the fact and the point and the aspect of everybody else has been able to get money. when they saying we don't got it. People keep talking about trillions of dollars worth of debt, but there's a list of reparations that's always given out yearly to certain countries, and then there's randomly reparations where people are getting paid millions of dollars from subgroups, LGBT, Ukraine, you name it. Whenever there's been a situation going on in tragedy, the government from America has picked and choose who they wanted to give the money out to. But the thing that seems to never get out there
So
is
the
people never give.
LGBTQ, whatever, the alphabet
Yeah,
community, they get reparations.
they got $75 million, and I quote from what I read, they got $75 million for reparations as far as what they had to go through as far as proving certain documentation about how they had to pay lawyer fees to get, you know, the benefits from their loved ones or the significant others, how they contributed to the government, how they contributed to other people, subgroups, as far as, you know, the plight of African Americans, taking the ideas from foundational Black Americans.
No, listen,
So,
I'm not familiar with it, so I'm gonna just take your word for it. So when I ask a question, I'm just asking for additional context. But go ahead, like I'm just gonna take your word for it. Go ahead, I'm listening.
well, that's the basis of it. People are the big thing is the big stink about the whole reparations thing is we always got money for everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
but it ain't never no money for the people that built this country. When you get to the root and the keys of the people that built this country, they have already done the research. When you follow the money, you can see where everyone is. The government, the people that owned the slaves, there was insurance policies on these people.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the money. You keep looking at, when you look into it from an intellectual perspective,
Mm-hmm.
follow the money. You can see where everybody is. My grandmother, she grew up across the street from Nancy Rockefeller.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham Lincoln is on my bloodline. I'm not proud about that because he was compromised. You see what I'm saying? But the point is this. I was able to find out where I came from. One of my grandmothers is 80 years old. She told me stories about living on the chicken farms down there in Memphis, Tennessee. I found out the stories of my great grandmother who just died a couple of years back, what she's seen going on. And I even got names wrote down in voice recordings, because my grandma, I'd just go home and pick her brain about certain families who were rich and over Memphis and in the vicinity of those cities back in the day, man. And it's not hard to figure out when it's people that are still living who was 10 years old when the cotton gin came out, and they had to transition from picking cotton, which sharecropping was a form of slavery, and then to say that these people didn't have that. And then you look at the other, let's just say, plights that people have a hard time understanding. When rich people who believe in nation building take the aspect of hiring a room full of geniuses,
Mm-hmm.
tossing them on some money and saying, okay, here, go fuck the world up, pardon my language.
Mm-hmm.
You get 30 geniuses in the room who understand nation building and the concepts of the world, and then their job is to fuck the world up. They know what they're doing. It was the same thing
So
like
let
when
me ask you a
Einstein.
question. Let me ask you a
Go
question.
ahead.
Do
Go
you
ahead.
think
My
that
bad for
there's
being long-winded, brother.
no, you fine. We just kicking it. We just having a conversation. Do you think that there's a benefit as far as from an agenda perspective for the United States to benefit off of the alphabet community based off of what it is that they're trying to do within our society today?
Yes, that's a loaded question. And the reason why I
No. It's
say
just
it's
a
a loaded,
general question. You don't have to substantiate it. Just a general question, right? So if that be the case,
yes.
to throw them $75 million to do that, right? What benefit comes along with, right? What benefit comes along with giving black people $200 trillion from the United States perspective?
It has been said by intellectuals, Dr. John Henry Clark,
Mm-hmm.
and others like him, the immortal elder, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, or any other intellectual that have come, Dr. Martin Luther King, and his true stance of economic justice. Uh, like I said, the philosophies that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had put forward, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in short, if you give black people like me You can't give me $100,000 cash. I'll get rich. If you give smart,
No.
intelligent black people,
You missing my question. What
okay, I'm
benefit?
sorry.
What benefit does the institution of America? What do they get out of giving you $200 million?
Our economy will boom.
By giving y'all, wait. So you telling me by giving black people $200 million, our economy would boom?
Our economy will boom. From my perspective and what I have seen, let me clarify my perspective and what I've been looking at.
Mm-hmm.
There have been tons of economists from the various communities who have uber wealth, even the Kevin O'Leary's. I've even heard him say it from Shark Tank. If you give black people this money, the intellectual class of black people that know what they're doing, we gonna turn that money.
No. That's not what it said. It said to give it to all black people.
No, not all black people. Foundational black Americans. If you give it to
foundational black Americans are only they're the only intellectual black people.
No, we aren't. I mean, no, they aren't. There's other intellectual black people, but that's a specific group.
What I'm saying is, are you saying that all foundational black Americans? All right, so let me do it like this. You saying if somebody gave you $100,000, you can get rich?
Yes.
How do you figure that?
Because of my plans that I got wrote out that make sense. That if when you look at how wealth is built and you look at how family is supposed to be rooted in it, and you look at the crosshairs argument of the 30 geniuses in the room and the plight of 300 years ago when that check was wrote to fuck the country up and the world up by white supremacy, it's a crosshairs argument. It's so many different points and variables. We couldn't get through it in this point, and that's what everybody is frustrated about.
I think you could come up with 100,000 over a period.
Can. I might.
I know you
honest,
can.
I being honest, I can, and I done messed up 100,000.
Okay, so now we gonna get real. Cause listen, one thing about us Detroit dudes is that we get down to the nitty gritty. Listen, I understand that you're a very educated brother. You're able to articulate yourself well. You seem well studied, right? But when we get down to the brass tacks of things, right?
Right.
You done already touched over 100.
Right.
What happened?
I didn't have the same type of freedom that my white friends have who are worth $3 and $4 million.
Big dog.
I'm just being honest.
What family member do I have the same type of freedom?
What my friends that are my age, I'm 36, Anton, who I've drawn to me being the man that I am in business and the things I got going on. My friends that are 30, my white friends that are 36, they had $1 million homes gifted to them. They had rare vehicles gifted to them. They had property. They had money. 2, 3, 4, 500,000 uncles, not even their straight descendant parents. They had relatives gifting them money. One of my buddies that I'm tight with right now that's worth $40 million, white dude who took to me, right? His dad was like, no, you gonna do this, 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 and this. Come from overseas, Bosnian, German, right? This is what you gonna do. And I'm gonna make sure I push everything into you. We got the hookup when we came over here. All I had to do was work, put the knowledge down, put your ass through school. You went to school while helping me build this trucking company. And now roughly they're worth about 30, 40 million. And he got to work alongside of his father and build. I didn't get that opportunity. What I got in the streets, and I'm just going to be straight with you.
I feel you.
My dad may have made millions back in the 80s and the 90s, but he had dealing habit. He squandered the wealth. Now I'm sitting here with no handoff, but I got all of his intelligence, all of his gifts, and I'm doing what I can. But like I said, it's a
And
hard
respect to
case.
that. Respect to you. Respect to you.
It's a case to make that because I had to get over self-gratification issues. You know where we from. Cartier glasses, $200 shades, and dumb shit. I had to learn that. I had to deal with leaving the street life and selling drugs and transitioning into truck driving and real estate.
But
And
you still got them on though.
these little Ray-Bans, the Yanks were here with me. The Yank, look, the bullshit, the shit that been holding me back. See, I'm 100. The shit that be holding me back, I got it, but I had to get over that shit. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, as smart as I appear to be,
You
psychologically,
smart. No, you a smart dude.
but psychologically, I had to take self accountability for, like I said, fucking 100,000 up. And some of my mentors and teachers that's waiting on me to get to that level, they told me, you gonna get there, but you gonna fuck up a few times. And I fucked up a few times, and now I'm trying to get to that point of thriving, as I've heard you talk about.
Yeah.
But Black people, we gotta do a deep conditioning. All of the things that I'm making it a point is in the true stack of paperwork that the intellectuals have all verified as far as common ideology for reparations. We got to get this thing cleaned all the way from the top to the bottom, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Go. What you got to say?
You know you can touch 100,000.
And I'm doing it. And it listen to the messages in your inbox, man. Like I said, we gonna talk when I get home. You can check me out, man, and verify I ain't on
I
no
got you.
bullshit and nothing like that.
No.
And
I think that listen. I love the conversation. I think you dope. I just think you discounting yourself.
Tell me how.
I think that you discount yourself because you putting too much energy into even in the forget the reparations shit, right? 80% of millionaires in this country are foreign and new millionaires from people that come from nothing. Which means that the overwhelming majority of the wealth that is generated is not coming from people that handed it off. It's coming from people that's building it from scratch. And more often than not, people that got a handout are the ones that squander it. Now, there are a few families over here. There's a percentage of people that's able to actually sustain and build, right? However, most people that get it handed off to them don't understand what it took to get there, and then they wind up fucking it up, right? But my point is that you spending time and saying, well, listen, my dad had this, but he fucked it up, and his dad had this, and he held him down, or whatever, so on and so forth. I think that you should better use that energy into executing your plan because you already know how easy it is. If you're 36 years old and you done already touched the type of money in which I think you touched, then I don't think that it's hard for you to actually be able to duplicate the process without any of the mistakes that came along with what you fucking it up the first time. And so if your execution and your plan is solid, I don't see why you spending any energy towards asking somebody for anything when you can. Listen, $5 million for me would do nothing for me. It wouldn't do shit for me. It wouldn't mean it. It wouldn't change my life. Is it a lot of money? Absolutely. It's absolutely a lot of money. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna touch $5 million a year. A year. And ain't nobody gave me shit. And what I found is that when you actually put money, and now this ain't got nothing to do with the reparations argument, but this is just me and you kicking it. When you actually put money in the hands of people that's not ready for it, it doesn't necessarily make them good at what it is that they do. It just shows the flaws that they really have because money just accentuates who you already are. It doesn't necessarily make you a better person. And so for me, I think that you should put more energy into the hustle and grind and executing your plan than you are listening to a bunch of other people talking about why it is that we deserve reparations. I think that the community could be much better served with the knowledge that you have, which is way more valuable than any amount of money that you can give somebody. The knowledge that you have and life experiences that you can execute and then show people the way in which they can build wealth instead of it being handed down to you would be a lot more fruitful for the people that you can then help in the long run. I don't need no handouts. I don't need nobody. I don't even want nothing. I ain't want no fucking stimulus check. I ain't want nothing from nobody. I'm going to get it the same way that I came in it, out of the mud. And so listen, I understand your argument with regard to reparations. And I think that it could be a much deeper argument that I plan on doing a show on Friday. But just on a person-to-person level, Detroit person to Detroit person level, I think that you already got it, bro. And I don't think that you need anybody in order to be successful.
What I will say is, I agree, Anton, but like they say, it's a big, like I kept saying, it's a crosshairs argument. And what I mean by that is this. I'm not worried about me. You know what I'm saying? The cousins I done had to look out who in jail for protecting themselves, having a gun on them, even though they didn't have legal, or family members that got locked up, being at the wrong place at the wrong time because they were hurt by racism. Family members who, you know, really needed it at the moment that had to call me for financial help. If I'm so busy, because the way I've always ran myself is, if as long as all my shit is together and it's straight, I'll give. So what happens if you give somebody like me a check like that and I'm able to get past a certain threshold financially? Then I can prosper and I can bring everybody that's supposed to be on my level. Because the thing is this, Anton,
That's how I know
everybody
you're
ain't
gonna
like
fuck it up.
you.
That's how I know you're gonna
Everybody
fuck
ain't
it up.
like you. How am I gonna fuck it up if I'm gonna make sure I'm straight first and put all the money in what I need to put it into first to get where I need to be? Because it take money to make money.
That's the same philosophy that all of these basketball players and athletes have.
But here's the thing. Here's what the
I'm
difference
telling you, you're
maker
gonna
is.
fuck it up. You're gonna fumble.
But here's why I believe you wouldn't be, why I wouldn't fumble. Because if you take that,
Okay.
can I be wrong? Can
Let's
I be
break it
wrong for
down.
a minute?
Let's say you
Go
get
ahead, go ahead.
5 M's. What you gonna do with it?
Go ahead. What am I gonna do with it?
Yeah, break
Come
it
meet
down
up with
for me.
people. Come meet up with motherfuckers like you.
No.
No
You
disrespect.
got the plan. You gonna execute on it. Share
Right.
with me the plan. What you gonna do?
Real quick. Real estate, crypto, trucking. Period.
You're gonna fuck up the bag,
Period.
bro. You're gonna fuck up the bag all day long. All day long, you're gonna fuck up the bag.
With real
Real
estate
talk.
and trucking, I'm gonna fuck the bag up.
Wait a minute, why you leave out crypto?
The reason why I left out crypto is because I know that from my teachings, real estate make you recession proof. And it's
Well,
a good
okay,
place to
explain it
sit
to
your
me.
money if you got. Go ahead.
Explain it to me how real estate make you recession proof.
I watched my mentor who got 40 houses be straight.
I got 17 and I got 4 more properties that I'm building right now.
Right. And from what I know, the only
Does
hardship
he
you
own them
had, you might
outright?
get.
Does he own them outright? No
Yeah, he owned
mortgage.
them outright.
No
No
mortgage.
mortgage.
40 properties, no mortgage.
No mortgage.
Where
Own
they
them
at?
outright. And he done had them over 15 years.
Okay, cool. So explain to me how real estate make you recession proof. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I want to know exactly what you think.
When you have that amount of entities and you want to do anything, you could go to any bank and leverage those properties to get whatever you need because they making money and they're actually an asset that brings in money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can do that, you straight. Even during the
Okay, so why would
pandemic,
you?
right?
No. If you got 40 properties and they're 100% cash flow, and
Right.
and you have no debt, why would you then leverage that in order to get more debt? What do you need to
Because
invest in and buy in which you have to go to a bank and get debt?
anything that is appreciating debt is good debt and bad debt.
Like what?
Let's say he wanted to give me $100,000 to go get 2 trucks.
Why would you need
He know I'm good.
100,000 to go get 2 trucks if you already cash flowing on 40 properties? If you cash flowing, I cash flow the equivalent of $39,100 every single month on 17 properties.
Right.
Literally $39,100 every single month I make on 17 properties, and that doesn't have anything to do with any other thing that I got going on. That's just real estate alone. Now, why would I have to go to the bank in order to borrow $100,000?
To get more properties lucratively.
No. You said that you was gonna go to the bank, get $100,000 in order to get some trucks.
It's the same thing.
It's not.
It's the same. You're gonna make the same. The bottom line figure may be smaller, but trucking is very lucrative business.
So let me give you it again.
The whole
I'm gonna
country
give
run
you
off
the
truck.
sauce. I'm gonna give you the sauce. You ready?
Come on, give me some sauce. Give me some
All right.
sauce. Sauce me
So
out.
this is the sauce. The difference between good debt and bad debt is this. The only time rich people use debt is two scenarios in most cases. Of course, there are some anomalies, but in most cases, it's two scenarios, right? The first scenario is that they use debt in order to prevent themselves from having to pay taxes, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's say Mark Zuckerberg actually had mortgages on his houses, right? But the reason that he used debt in order to buy the houses wasn't that he didn't have the cash or he couldn't come up with the cash. It was because all of his money is based off of his compensation, and his compensation is based off of his equity that he has in Facebook, right? So in order for him to pull money out of Facebook for him to buy this $50 million property, he would have to pay $50 million in taxes. So he'd have to pull $100 million out and get taxed at the highest rate in order to come up with $50 million to buy a $50 million house. Instead, he continues to leave his money inside of Facebook, which continues to grow. And then he takes out a mortgage against what his equity is in the company at an extremely low rate. So it costs him less to mortgage it because he can actually make sure that he guarantees it against his equity in the company instead of taking $100 million out in order to pay $50 million in taxes to buy a $50 million property. That's why they then mortgage the property. That's the first situation in which they use debt. And see, they don't teach you this in school because most people say that you should use other people's money in order to make money, but they don't understand the context as a result of it. So you shouldn't just go out and buy or take out debt when you're cash flowing. The only time that you need to leverage debt is when you don't want to pay taxes on the money that you're making, because it's an incentive for you continue to plow money back into your companies, which increases your assets and your net worth while reducing how much money you have to pay in taxes. The goal is to reduce the amount of money that you're paying in taxes, not to leverage debt in order to make more money. The only time that you leverage in debt in order to make more money is that you prevent yourself from spending money in assets and leveraging those assets in order to then buy things, because you don't have to pay money back on the loans that you then use in order to buy that $50 million house. So when you see them do this, they're not leveraging debt in the same way that black people is leveraging debt. And see, this is what I'm saying, right? Most people don't have the sauce. Most people, they don't understand how money works. So just giving a bunch of people a bunch of money when they don't truly understand it is really most of the time like giving a lottery winner a winning ticket. They wind up regretting it because they don't truly understand exactly how money works. Now, this don't have nothing to do with the reparations conversation. That's a completely different conversation. What I'm saying is that black people need to better understand and align themselves with people that understand how money works. The other way, I'll give you another piece of advice. The other way that people use debt is they use it within their companies in order to spin off certain divisions of the company, saddle it with debt, and then they use that in order to create an IPO so that they can create a healthier company. I'll give you an example, right? Let's say you have a company and one division of the company is online e-commerce, and then another division of the company. Let's say you take a Disney, right? Let's say you take a Disney. Disney leveraged debt in order to buy Fox's assets so that they can then create their streaming company. Now, let's say, for example, Disney decided, you know what, we want to create two different divisions of the company. And this is the part that they don't tell you when these IPOs issued. We want to create two different divisions of the company and want to spin that company off. Most of the time, they take the least profitable part of the company, they saddle that part of it with debt, and then they focus the majority of their efforts and all of their executive decisions on the company that's the most healthy so that they can ensure that they can continue to get their compensation. So they use it from a business perspective, and then they use it in order to make sure that they save money on taxes. That's how the rich people use other people's money in order to get rich, because they can guarantee it against assets that they've already created. So what I'm telling you is that if you're making $40,000, $50,000, $80,000 a month, it's no reason why you should ever be walking into a bank unless you're trying to figure out how it is that you can save yourself from giving the government legally money for free.
And that's the problem I was having. Thanks for dropping that game.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
why we
I
need
give you
to
the
talk,
game. I
man.
mean,
That's why we need to talk, because I ran into that issue, but I ain't gonna hold just show up no more, man. I appreciate
think
that.
about
I
it like
needed it.
this. This is how you want to move. Everything that you want to do from here on out is to prevent yourself from having debt, because you're giving away free money and interest to companies that ain't doing nothing but servicing a loan. Black people in their habits of continuing to create debt is doing nothing but creating a long-term siphoning off of their money and their resources that prevents them from building wealth. Once you making money and once you prevent yourself from cutting yourself off from that debt, that's how you then leverage your resources in order to build wealth. Now, it's a formula for that, and I talk about it inside of the Patreon and everything like that. But in a general sense, we got to cut ourselves off from thinking that we understand how debt works, when in reality, that narrative is a marketing slogan by the banks. Why? Because I know I've worked in banking for the last 6-7 years. It's a marketing slogan by the banks that then helps us to continue to take out loans against things that we don't even need. And we pay more in interest than if you was paying yourself in interest the amount of money that you're giving over into the banks, you'd be rich. We wouldn't even sit here and having this conversation.
I noticed that with my credit cards. I'm like, I gotta get this
But
interest
see,
off
it's
my
no
ass.
reason that you should sit here and be talking about having a balance on your credit cards, because I guarantee you paying anywhere from 16 to 27% interest. See, and we having the wrong conversations.
Somewhat.
If we spent more time having the right conversations and holding each other accountable of how it is that we spend our money, then we wouldn't even be sitting here having conversations and asking Biden for forgiveness on our student loans.
Agreed.
So, I don't know. But listen, I appreciate you. Hey, I'm going to check my DMs, and I'm going to check you out, big dog.
All right. Look forward to meeting you when I touch down, man. Thanks for letting me
Absolutely,
on the
man.
show, the
For
broadcast.
sure.
I appreciate it. And ain't
Thanks for
nobody
coming
gonna
through,
talk
bro.
crazy. Hey, look, and ain't nobody gonna talk crazy about Queen Rita. It'll be beef. You talk crazy about Queen Rita. I'm 6'5" and 210 and I can fight. Come see me at Crunk Gym in Detroit. You will
No,
not
we listen.
disrespect Rita.
Hey, listen, I appreciate the love, but the one thing that we gonna also do differently is we gonna do this. We gonna use this. We ain't using this no more. That's where we came from.
You
Now
right.
it's time to elevate and evolve, because everybody is using this now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, you
All right,
gotta
big
think,
dog.
man.
I'm gonna rock with you. I appreciate you, bro.
Good looking, man. See you later.
Absolutely.